it to voice. Batista, Denny Medicinebird, Nahishabe. Good afternoon. Welcome to each and every one of you. My name is Denny Medicinebird. I'm a Cheyenne, enrolled member of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes, but I'm also Kiowa and Apache. I'll be taking us through a perspective not only of mine, but of our ancestors that were prisoners here at the fort. I devised my title for my presentation as Warrior Spirit meets Military Service and Cultural Protocol. As I stated, I'm a Cheyenne and Arapaho tribal member. I reside in Jones, Oklahoma with my family. I have 2 sons, Dino and Gilberto. And this picture is of my Kiowa camp. As I stated, I'm half Kiowa. My family is deeply rooted in the Black Legion Ceremonial Society. So this is our camp. We're very honored of all of our family members who have served in the military. Myself, in Operation Enduring Freedom veteran. I'm a medic for the Oklahoma Medical Readiness Detachment. I was previously asked to be a part of this project with Governor Wasney and Miss Noreen Starr. I began my service with the tribe back in June as the Office of Veteran Affairs Coordinator, and recently I've transitioned to be the Acting Executive Director of Health for our tribe. I have a personal connection to Fort Marion, but I first want to say that I'm the great-great-great-grandson of White Antelope, who lost his life in 1864 at the Sand Creek Massacre. I'm also a descendant of Antelope, and on my Kiowa side, Olotoin was also here at Fort Marion. He was a ledger artist, and he painted one of the Kiowa battle teepees that's still in existence today. So I stand here to tell you that we are products of resiliency. We're products of prayer. And that's why we're here today, to provide this presentation to each and every one of you. I consider myself a lifelong learner, so I hope that everything that we have to say today impacts your life positively, and that we can move forward in collaboration and working together. Fort Marion housed 33 Cheyenne, 2 Arapaho, 27 Kiowa, a Caddo, and 9 Comanche. Out of respect, I'd like to mention each and every one of our Cheyenne and Arapaho members. The ones on the screen that are darkest in the bold form, those are our chiefs, starting with Heathrow Birds, Chief Bearshield, and then the ones that are not in bold are warriors, beginning with Eagle's Head, Medicine Water, Chief Longback, White Man, Rising Bull, Broken Leg, Bear's Heart, Star, Howling Wolf, David Okerhater, also known as Making Medicine, Antelope, Wolf's Morrow, Chief Little Medicine, Shave Head, Romanos, Squint Eyes, Little Chief, Matches, Buffalo Meat, Buzzard, Soaring Eagle, Bear Killer, Left Hand, Chief Killer, Graybeard, Big Moccasin, Chief Lean Bear, Shaving Wolf, Spotted Elk, Big Nose, and Buffalo Castleman. The Arapaho, or White Bear, and Packer. As I was doing my research for this presentation, I got most of my information from the War Dance at Fort Marion. So if you have not read that book, please take the time to even read a couple of chapters. I believe most of the information that I've gathered is from chapter 6. And what I got from that is that, we're all here because of their warrior spirit. They all had attributes that were beyond any one of our leadership qualities that we hold today in this room. And it was because they were warriors. They were members of our Cheyenne warrior societies. There are 4 of them still presently active in our tribe, within our culture today. They were also visionaries. They prayed way beyond my life today and many, many years to come, many generations to come. And that's why we are here. We're here to honor them, we're here to acknowledge them, and really celebrate what they have done for each and every one of us. They were so prayerful for all the generations that would follow them. They had true grit, taking a train from Oklahoma to Florida and still be able to thrive in the prison that they lived in. They were a part of an experiment that was supposed to kill their culture, their identity. But with their grit, they were able to overcome those challenges and be able to self-identify not only as Cheyenne and Arapaho, but they were also soldiers within the U.S. military service. Resiliency, that's probably one of the biggest attributes that I noticed that each and every one of them housed within their self. They were also critical thinkers. To be able to be in the military, some of us in this room know that we have to find balance, not only within ourselves, but with our families and those that we work with. So being able to critically think for themselves while they were here, and to get from 1875 to 1878, and then go beyond that, it had to take a lot of critical thinking to overcome challenges. While they were here, they were able to create a new lifestyle for themselves. Captain Pratt, some of us may know it as genocide, or killing the Indian and save the man is a phrase that you may often hear. But they were able to go beyond that and really take, like Ogre Hader, for instance. He was able to be a saint within the religious community. So that balance has helped him and has helped his family. They also held on to their self-identity. We can see that through all of the ledger art in this room today. As I said, Oval Point, they still have that battle teepee. And to my family, that's a huge treasure and a huge honor. They also had selfless service and sacrifice, as most military present-day service members know that. So I think out of all the people that were here in prison, they had much warrior spirit and many leadership attributes that allowed them to thrive and survive this experience. They were put through a basic training. As I said, this was an experiment brought on by Captain Pratt, as he requested that from the War Department, Department of Interior. They were able to provide them with military uniforms, as you'll see pictured here. They taught them daily duties. I also went through basic training, so I know the struggle of pressing a uniform and shining your boots. Rations were provided. They were allocated funds from the War Department. And I also learned how to really take better care of themselves through daily sanitation activities. They also learned how to march in cadence. That's the same thing that present-day military people do, left, right, and just really learn how to march in a uniformed way. They were instilled with the chain of command, and from what I learned, making medicine was appointed to be one of the first sergeants within that regiment. So again, that's a huge honor to be in that hierarchy and be at the top, leading our tribal members while they served. Pratt hoped that our tribal members would be fierce, that they would be wolves for his regiment, and I'm sure that they were, just by reading all of the research that I've conducted. So again, if you're able, read War Dance. It's by Brad Lickingbill. This morning we were able to go to the National Cemetery. Some of the protocols that we do, especially at the end of life for our service members, is the raising and lowering and the folding of the flag. It holds a huge significance not only for the service member, but for the family. So I'm very glad that Miss Noreen Starr asked me to be a part of this project again. We weren't able to do the flag ceremony as we had wished or as we had planned. Again, the hurricane provided many challenges, especially for our flagpole, but I believe that has been corrected. So we'll be doing that ceremony in the morning as well as tomorrow afternoon. So if you wish to see that, I invite all of you to come and be a part of that. And that's down the street at the National Cemetery. Mainly, we'd like to acknowledge their service with the U.S. Army. They were fearful but willing. They were willing to go beyond themselves and take the challenge that Captain Pratt put in front of them, and they were able to serve as service members in the United States Army. One of the significant things that they did was cut their hair, and most of you know, to any Native person that grows their hair long, that's culture, that's a lot of sacredness that is put into that person and the way they're raised and the way they're supposed to act. That's a representation of themselves. So for them to lose that, and for any service member to lose that, that's a part of them. So I just so honored that I was able to do this research, and I want to thank Mr. O.T. Sankey, Brother Haho, for all that you did for us and that you do for our people. Ceremonially, I know you pray for all of us and you protect us, so I just want to say Haho. Those buried here at the National Cemetery, Graybeard, we visited the gravesite yesterday, and we did some things there to help take care of his passing. He's buried up in Baldwin, Florida. The ones buried here are lean bear, big moccasin, shaving wolf, spotted elk, and heap of birds. Today we did the flag for big moccasin. Tomorrow we'll be honoring heap of birds flag. And again, we wanted to do that just to show the significance of their service and really honor and take those flags back home and be able to distribute them to the 6 respective families. From this project, I hope to see that we continue to share the Cheyenne and Arapaho perspective with the community of St. Augustine and beyond. I've got to experience being in the council meeting on Monday with the mayor, so that was a huge deal to all of us tribal members that were present. You see it on TV, but to experience that self-hand, it was such an honor to represent our tribe. I also hope that we honor our loved ones and their service to our country and be able to take that back home in the representation of the flag that we're going to be folding and giving to them. I hope to sit down with Ms. Doreen and write a letter to the president so that we can formally acknowledge the service of our tribal members. And I hope to continue to collaborate with entities such as the National Park Service, Department of Interior, the City of St. Augustine. Someday we may get to come back and hopefully do a cultural presentation. That would be really cool to see. And then of course, I'd really like to link this project to our daily purpose, especially those that work with the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. I hope that this provides healing. I hope this provides honor and respect to you and your family. And hopefully it impacts our long-term health. Lastly, I'd like to say hello for your attention and just having the honor and privilege to speak to you today. Again, my name is Denny Medicinebird. Hello.